All praises, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel of the house of faith. Count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to preach the word of God, and never do I count it as a light thing to do so. All right, brothers and sisters. I just want to deal with, and I'm not going to be long. I know I'm coming on very late. Got home not that long ago, so. I did want to deal with mate selection. Since talking so much about I was dealing with marriage, I wanted to deal with mate selection, and I'm gonna do the first part about women and the second part about men. Well, the type of woman you should look for as a man, and ultimately, as well, what kind of man a woman should consider marrying. So I want to start off in Proverbs the 31st. And most of us are familiar with this, but it's good to review these things because, quite frankly, this is not how people are operating, even in the word. Oftentimes, this is Proverbs 31:10, because here we see the type of woman that is of great value. Proverbs 31:10. It says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." It didn't say who could find a dime. It didn't say who could find a fine woman. It didn't say who can find an Instagram model. What it said is who can find, Solomon writes, who can find, the proverb says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. See, quite frankly, what we call quote unquote beautiful is based on what? Okay, if you're looking at someone's face, it's quite frankly, it's based on the symmetry. Okay, and that's what it's based on. It's based on the symmetry. And quite frankly, what people consider attractive, right? That's a dime a dozen. Okay, but the question is, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. He says, so virtue, brothers and sisters, is what you should be looking for. Let's just look up the word. I want to, just so we can get a quick definition, just a quick definition of virtue, so we understand what it is. All right, this is virtue. Virtuous or virtue. Let's go to virtue. Sorry. A quality held to be of great moral value, moral excellence, goodness, female chastity. Okay. So someone who is of high moral character, a woman that is of high moral character. It says who could find that type of woman. And when this was written, I say who can find one right now, because that is certainly not being promoted. It's all about what you, particularly as a woman, there's a lot of pressure on women about what you look like, right? And that has its place, understand, with modesty, right? With discretion. But understand, it's about your moral character. It's about how you behave. And when you look and when you really, because it was brothers on here talking about they wanted to be married, just sit back and observe. Sit back and observe the behavior of sin. I'm not talking about even in the world. I'm talking about in your congregation. Women in the so-called church, just sit back and observe how they behave. And you need to ask yourself, is this an individual? Just sit back and observe. Is this an individual that's exhibiting high moral character? Okay, because it says something. When you have this type of woman, it says something in verse 11, the heart of her husband does safely trust in her. See, if you know you're dealing with somebody with the utmost or high moral character, you can trust in them. You can't trust in them. You know she ain't worth a nickel. She can look however you want her to look, but if she doesn't have high moral character, that's not what you want. So it said, the heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. It says, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Right? Understand, this is not the norm to find a woman like this. Verse 23, her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Okay, so now he's known among the gates. This woman is actually known, because you will know, because she will have high moral character, and people will understand this. Let's hold our fingers here and go to Ruth chapter 3. Ruth chapter 3, we want to pick it up at verse 11. Ruth chapter 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Let's just see something that was said about her. This is Ruth chapter 3 and verse 11. So it says Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, and now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to tell thee all that thou requirest, for all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman. Right? See, they know about your character. So just like a man can be known amongst the people, hey, you know who's about the right, because reputation follows you. Now, I should say, especially for women, your reputation, for a variety of reasons. But you want a virtuous woman, a woman of high moral character, one who exhibits moral excellence, right? Because that's what the value is. It's not in how your body looks. It's not in your face and your makeup, right? It's not in the Fendi bag. It's not in those things. It's in your moral character. Because no matter how you look today, you understand you getting ugly about a day. And what I mean by that is we are all aging. We are all aging. So we're losing our looks. So looks, that we're going to find out what looks are and what beauty is. But Proverbs 31 and verse 23. So it says, her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Then it talks about her. It says, she maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Okay, so when she's opening her mouth, she's not talking crazy. She's not talking crazy. What is she speaking with? She's speaking with wisdom. Then it says she looketh well to the ways of her household. So you want to build with somebody. You want a woman of high moral character. A woman of high moral character is going to make sure her household is taken care of to the best of her ability. Right? She's going to take care of her house. She's going to do the things necessary. And will give you good counsel when necessary, to the best of her ability. Why? Because she cares. This is not the vast majority of women. This is not half of women. It said, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. I would advise any brother that's thinking about marriage to just sit back and observe behavior. All right? It says, she looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. So we read that earlier. She's looking to the ways of her house, and she's not idle. What does idle mean? She's not moving. She is not lazy at all. She's working, trying to ensure that our household has what it needs. Peace to everybody that's listening. Peace to you. Let's go to Proverbs the 14th chapter. Proverbs the 14th chapter. Because he says it here about what the wise woman would do. It just said that when she speaks, there's wisdom, right? It says in verse 14, and it says also, we also read in Proverbs 31, that she looks to the ways of her household, right? It says in 14:1, every wise woman buildeth her house. Okay? So every wise woman builds her house. Hold your finger here. We're going to come right back. Let's see what she's building it with. Proverbs, the 24th chapter and verse 3. Proverbs 24 and verse 3. It says, through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established. So she's building it up through wisdom. You do not want a fool, brothers and sisters, or brothers, excuse me. You don't want a fool. Because I'm speaking specifically to brothers at this point. You don't want a fool. So verse 1 of Proverbs 14, every wise woman buildeth her house, right? Then it said, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So if you had a fool, everything that you trying to build, she will destroy, right? She won't do the things necessary in order so that the kids will thrive. She won't do the things necessary so that you can thrive in your endeavors. She will tear the house down. She won't build a house. She won't clean the house. She won't do the things necessary to ensure everything is in place, right? She won't be prudent with the money, right? She will spend money in an unwise way, and she won't make good decisions. So if you think about it, you as a man go out in the world and you're trying to provide, you're trying to make a way, right? You fighting and you toiling and you struggling out in the world, but then when you come home, you got a fool in the house and she tearing it down. So on the outside, you fighting this, you grinding every day, and when you come home, that's when you're supposed to have peace, right? That's where you're supposed to have tranquility. That's your domain. That's your castle. But then you doing all you can to build up your castle, but then you come home and it's a fool inside. So fool inside tearing it down. Say coming home to TV dinners or no dinner at all. Or want you to make dinner after she's done nothing all day. Come home and she's spending all your money on things that are trivial. Not talking with wisdom, but talking crazy. Being disrespectful. Being an embarrassment. There's nothing like, and I'm going to tell you, there's nothing like when you see a man and his wife disrespects him in front of people, talking crazy, or embarrasses him, speaking foolishness, or talking crazy to him in front of people. Oh, man. Man, that's unacceptable. So it says again, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. And we know what she builds it with. She builds it with wisdom. Now, again, so the fool plucks it down with her hands. Let's see the type of woman you don't want. Let's go to Proverbs, the 21st chapter. Proverbs 24 and Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21 and verse 9. And again, peace to everybody that's listening. Proverbs 21 and verse 9. The brother said, coming home to TV dinners. Just think about even what the children will have, right? Is she concerned really with having the best interest in the children and what they need? They certainly don't need like a bunch of McDonald's, right? I mean, it's obviously you might go there or to some of these places once in a while, but that shouldn't be your mainstay, right? You want to make sure your progeny, brothers and sisters, is extremely, your heritage, that's extremely important. So you don't want her, you want a woman that's concerned about the things that you concern, the things that matter. Okay? You constantly see people making the wrong decisions. And they make terrible decisions and choose women that have not developed their moral character, don't have good moral character, but because their main concern is how they look. That's their main concern, how they look, and the attention that they can get from men based on how they look. Not realizing, hey, just like when they say the athlete, they call it father time, right? That's their term. In other words, when you get to a certain age, your reflexes wane, your speed, you lose a step, right? You're just not what you used to be. It's time to hang it up, right? Undefeated. That wall is undefeated, right? So if you are dependent totally on how you look, you are in for a rude awakening, especially if you have made terrible decisions. As a woman, you made terrible decisions in your youth, and now you want somebody to clean it up as you get older. And then you'll find some foolish man who will do that. And then he looked up and now he miserable. Why? Because you didn't choose the right woman. Why? Because you were concerned with looks. I'm telling you, if you quote unquote beautiful women, what most people will find attractive comes a dime a dozen. It is not rare, but it is rare to find a woman who has high moral character. And really, that's what should be celebrated. That's what should be celebrated. That's what should be cherished. Moral character, wisdom, and a woman, modesty. These are the things that should be cherished in women. But nevertheless, let's find out what, because we know a fool will turn out her household. Let's see what else it says. It says, Proverbs 21:9, it says, it is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. See, you don't want to be around this type of woman, right? Because no matter how, quote unquote, fine you think she is, no matter how beautiful she may look, at the end of the day, listen, you can't spend your whole existence gazing at her as she ages by the minute. What you need to do, you need to understand, is that eventually you're going to have a conversation. Eventually, what you look like is of no significance, in the sense of there are more important things. Obviously, there would be some attraction between a man and a woman, but I'm talking about that shit for a lot of brothers. That's first, second, and third, and fourth, all the way to 10. What she look like? But what is that getting you if she's a fool? What is that getting you if she has low moral character? What does that get you if she's not worthy to be a wife? It's gonna get you a headache. It's not going to only cause you pain and suffering while you're married. If you're getting married, you may end up losing everything you have because you married a disloyal, foolish, trifling woman. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to get on these brothers tomorrow, so don't think I'm just throwing shots at women. But so it says, it is better to dwell in the corner of the house. Now, it'd be better for you to just live in a corner than to be in a wide house with a contentious woman. Okay, that's what that's talking about. A brawling woman is a woman that's always fighting. You out there fighting in the world. You tired. You tired. And you coming home, now you got to fight in the house too. Now you got to see that, and that's another thing. Just sit there arguing with some woman. Men today so weak. They so weak. So weak. Take any and everything. Take any and everything. All kind of foolishness. She can't respect you if you take it. When she tests you and you fail, she can't respect you. Why? Because she take any and everything to you, and you just take it. And then she do any and everything, and you sit there and don't say nothing. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Let's go to there's another. It says in a different way here. Proverbs the 19th chapter and verse 13. Again, peace, Brother Philip. Proverbs 19 and verse 13. It says, a foolish son is the calamity of his father. Right? That's a disappointment when you got a fool for a son. But then it said, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. You won't have peace. In your house, if you don't have peace, nowhere else in this world, you should have peace in your house. It's your house. You should have peace in your house. So be mindful of the woman that you choose. And you shouldn't go into marriage covenants with with the mindset, oh, it can just end. I'm not worried about that. No, it's not anything to go into lightly. Let's go to since we're in Proverbs 19, let's stay here and read one other verse, verse 14. Because it says something about a good wife. It says houses and riches are the inheritance of fathers, right? So you get houses and riches. You can get that from your father once he dies. It's your inheritance. But he says, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. A prudent wife. Right? So earlier he said in 18 and 22, so find the wife, find the good thing and obtain the favor of the Lord. But it's a certain type of wife, a prudent wife. Let's just look up another word. I want to look that up just to show you. Just read from the dictionary. This is, of course, it's not in the Hebrew. This is just the English word for prudent. Let's just look it up just so we understand. Because this is basic. If people really observed somebody who they were, there's more amongst women, as far as who they want, he got to be at least 6'2". He got to make this amount of money. He got to all kind of foolishness, right? But are you looking at a person's character? Okay, let's look at prudence. It's leading a person to avoid error or danger. The virtue by which the practical reason distinguishes the things useful for salvation. So prudence, brothers and sisters, again, you have prudence. It's a foresight leading a person to avoid error or danger. So if you have a prudent wife, she will do that for you. She will help you to avoid error and danger. But if she has high moral character, if she knows her role as a woman, she won't be doing this in a disrespectful way. She won't be called, fool, don't you know such and such, such and such. She won't say that. She will say, have you considered this? Or give you some information that you had not considered so that you can make a wise decision. See, that's what you need. Because your standard of living is, you know what it's based on? Oftentimes, it's based on, like anything else, the decisions that you make. It's based on the decisions that you make. So again, it says, houses and riches are the inheritance of the fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. That's the gift from God when you have a prudent wife. Proverbs 31, because you didn't have to have one. You could have had a fool. Proverbs 31 and 30. Because we in this portrait of a virtuous woman, it says something about beauty. It says favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. Why is it vain? Because it is fleeting. It is fleeting. And you base everything on something that you're not going to have in a few years. It's going to come a time you basing it on something. You dudes checking for you now. Soon, though, you're going to be walking. They're going to be walking. Usually they used to hold the door for you and try to holler at you. There's going to come a time where they're going to let the door just slam in your face. It's going to come a time when you go into the dinner party and nobody's looking at you. See, so what are you going to do then? It said favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. And for men, why are you looking for that? Let me hold your finger here. Let me show you something. Let's go to 1 Samuel. This is 1 Samuel. And we want to pick it up at 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7, because here we see that Samuel was sent to anoint one of the sons of Jesse, and the one he's going to anoint is David. But now before he sees David, he sees one of the sons of Jesse, and this son looks the part of a king, right? So this is 1 Samuel 16 and verse 7. Verse 6, actually. It says, and it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. So now he looked at this one and he looked like a king. Remember, Saul was head and above shoulders above all of Benjamin. He looked at Eliab. He said, oh, this guy, he looks like a king, right? David even said that about presidents in this country, right? You heard it about JFK. They have a certain appearance, right? So it says in verse 6 again, it says, and it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. And that's what we should do. That's what you should do. You should look at somebody's character when you're choosing to make. That should be the first thing. Is this a godly woman? Does she have high moral character, high moral excellence? Because if she does, she's going to be a good wife. She's going to be a good mother. So Proverbs 31 and verse 30, it says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. Then it said, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. But can you find one is the question. Then it says, give her the fruit of her hands and let her own works praise in the gates. So brothers and sisters, when you see the virtuous woman or the virtuous wife, that's what the virtuous woman is, what you should be looking for. That's what you should be looking for. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you that we're at the Household of Faith, meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. We invite you to come out and worship with us where we preach the uncut, unadulterated word of God. It's 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We also live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. All praises be to the Most High, for any edification that has been received. And with that, brothers and sisters, that is always my prayer, that you will edify. And again, peace to everybody.